Aha! Here we go. Oh, let's see. I want to kill the music there. There we go. That was good. Doing some last minute things here before I officially start the stream. Let's see. Caffeine, check. Chocolate, check. Comic books, check. So I got a nice, massive stack of comic books to share with everyone today. The topic of the day is back to the wonderful period of time of the early 90s, the comic book gimmick covers, as everybody fondly remembers. Or maybe you don't fondly remember the 90s. Oh, and right off the bat, hello. Just popped in to like and say hello. Have a great stream. Well, thank you, Susan. Thanks for popping in a bit. Let's see. Trying to get last minute things organized here because I'm trying to decide where do I want to start off with. Let's see, this, that, or the other thing. I'll do this. Now, usually I had to look up some terminology. Oh, you stick around until you lose connection. Oh, that's cool. Thank you for driving me. Be safe driving. And what in the sun is you what am I doing? Yeah, I'm doing another Saturday live stream. Thanks for joining me, Melted Copper. Good to see you here. Now I'm doing yet another Saturday episode of Saturday Comic Books. This is episode 3, where I talk about all things comic book related, whether it's news, certain issues I kind of liked, or the little bit of trivia or whatnot. Oh, you're literally in a one horse town. Small town USA. Yes, it's bright out. Yep. Yeah, I'm not doing my late night live streams. This is an addition to my late night musings where I weaponize my insomnia. This is something different. This is the third episode of trying a live stream during the daytime hours. The sun is out. It's a nice day. Good breeze. Weather's nice. Oh, you're in Canada. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, normally I've been doing late night live streams, but I figured uh, I wanted to do something different and do a live stream during the daytime and put all of my comic book related material on at one specific point in the week. And it came down to Saturdays either in the morning or in the afternoons. And since I like sleeping from time to time, the afternoons won out. Let's see here. A little bit of trivia here and there before I get going. Yeah, some of the things normally when you think about excesses, like excess excessive things in culture or society, people usually talk about the 80s. And usually it's like a negative point for people who don't know any better. But some of that seemed to carry on over into the early 90s. And it was reflected into, yeah, I guess you could say it was reflected into the comic book era, the early 90s, excessive comic books at a time when everybody was jockeying for position on the comic book store shelves, anything and everything trying to get the attention of people who are there to spend their hard earned money on comic books. And thus was the rise of the gimmick cover. Anything that was either bright, shiny, that made you stop in your tracks, go and think, oh, gee, that looks neat. I wonder what that comic book is about? And then, well, here I am trying to find one little bit of trivia that I all of a sudden cannot find. Oh, well, the show goes on. Yeah, yeah. Da, 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 da. There we go. And I think I am ready to go. I have a good stack of books right next to my desk here. I'm going to start off with one of the trends. Let me see that. Aha, there we go. Desk cam up and going. Now, one of the trends that started off in the 90s, well, I don't know if it really started off, but it kind of carried on into the 90s, was the bagged comic book with trading cards and or posters. This was all an attempt to get people to go, oh, look, this book is bagged and it has trading cards in it. I wonder what it's all about. I've got quite a few examples of Topps Comics, uh, Super Deluxe Kirby Chrome trading card inside. This was Jack Kirby art. So I have like bagged books of Jack Kirby comic books, Night Glider, Captain Glory, and then this is Now Comics, Tales of the Green Hornet, with a free limited edition hologram card. As you can't really see, but well, oh, there it is. As my studio lights, I'm going to have to do something about my studio lighting to try to get a better view of books, but oh well. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Green Hornet. Yeah, yeah, the less said about that particular movie, the better. I think many a Green Hornet fans will pretend that film doesn't exist. Aha, Killer Rabbit from space. Hello. Thank you for joining me today. Hope everyone's having fun out there. Melted copper. I had a little too much adult beverage last night. Okay. So yeah, this is the bagged comic books. I've got a good stack here, so I'm not going to spend too much time on any one particular gimmick. Though I have some that I'm going to talk about, and then one honorable mention that is not of the 90s, but it's just one of my favorite comic book covers that I'm going to share at the end. Reaching over. All right. And the next trend that hit comic books at that time was the variant cover. Like you could have multiple number ones or multiple number twos, such as this X-Men #1 that came out in 91. You had multiple covers. I had to reposition my desk cam to make sure I was able to get all this in it. There we go. Maybe if I do this and reposition these. Now, this is what I was trying to find information about before I started my stream today, and I just wasn't able to find the figures. This book sold millions and millions of copies. I want to say somewhere between 5 and 10 million copies of X-Men #1 were sold. I want to say there's a fifth one, but I'm not too sure about that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. You put them all together and they do this. Let's see, was there anything? Nope, there's nothing on the back. Yeah. First issue, A Legend Reborn. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Scott Williams, the inker. Tom Orzechowski, the letterer. Joe Rosas, the colorist. Suzanne Gaffney, the assistant editor. Bob Harris, the editor. Tom DeFalco, the editor-in-chief. So, yeah, anytime anybody wanted to make money, they would just put out multiple issues of a particular book, whereas like variant covers, usually it's variant covers, like a black and white cover or a painted cover, whatnot. Your favorite gimmick was the Mad Magazine folding cover. I don't think I've ever seen that, but I can imagine it being Mad Magazine. It probably had at least 4 or 5 folds out to it. Just seemed like it kept folding and unfolding and unfolding forever. Ray Lacard. Hello, Ray. Your favorite gimmick cover was Batman. Yes, yes. I was debating whether or not to include the fall of Batman in this particular show. I may save that till later. But yeah, I do have all that. And that was one of the big storylines at that time. Batman and Superman, a lot of stuff going on. Oh, yes, yes, yep. Yeah, there's always discussion of that. Let's see. I'm going to put these aside and move right along. So that was X-Men #1. That was like not only the alternate cover, but they all went together to do something spiffy. And that being making people spend more of their money to buy multiple issues of the same book. Not that I want to sound jaded or anything, but two good examples here. I have Spider-Man #1. Alternate covers. One is like in a gold ink, and then one is a regular. Yeah, it's just regular ink. There's nothing spiffy about this, like foil, hologram, or anything like that. That's coming later on in the stack of books I have here. As you can kind of see, yes, the classic Todd McFarlane art. This is again variant covers. I'm going to set. What am I going to do? I'm going to set these right here so they can catch all the glare from my camera. Or what I'm going to do. Maybe if I put a pencil underneath. No, that won't work. I don't know, some trading cards from previous. No, that won't work either. Okay. Oh, I can do that. I can kind of rest them on top of my monitor here. No, that won't. Anyway, you get the gist of that. So this is image Shadowhawk number 1. Yeah, Shadowhawk. And this is kind of a nice little transition from the variant cover to the foil embossed cover, which is like the next gimmick I'll be sharing. As you've got nice shiny foil, and then there's some embossing on the cover to make the lettering rise up or stand out. Imagine walking down your comic book store aisles, looking at comic book to comic book, and you see this on the shelf, like boom, reflecting off the ceiling lights. It catches your eye. You stop. You go, "Ooh, what's this about?" So yeah, once they started putting foil on it, it was reflective. It was shiny. People stopped, looked at it, and went, "Ooh, look, shiny." So I'm going to set these aside. So yeah, variant covers leading into the next gimmick trend of shiny embossed book covers. Let's see. Oh, that. All right. Yep. Put those away. Got some nice examples of shiny embossed cover art. Image Book Supreme number 1. Shiny foil. The only thing that's really embossed is the Supreme name. The rest of it is, no, that's not really full. That's not embossed. That's just shiny. Supreme number 1. Let's see here. Rob Liefeld, the creator, writer, and inker. Brian Murray, the penciler, writer, color design. Kurt Hathaway, the letterer. Richard Horry, the technical assistant. Digital Chameleon, color separations. Eric Stevenson, the editor. And we got some special thanks to Kevin Broden, Joe Comstock, John Dickinson. And then Mike Grell's Shaman's Tears. I don't know what this book is about. I think I only picked this book up only because it was Mike Grell. And I like Mike Grell. So I picked this up. I think I might have picked up the second issue of it, but I've never read them. I don't know what it's about. Don't know if there's anything special about it. Again, going back to Marvel, we have Conan the Adventurer. Nice shiny red foil, and there's some embossing on Conan himself. Let's see. Melted Copper says, Dark Horse, I feel dead, did Conan better. Yeah, that's probably true. I was never a big Conan reader, but I do believe Dark Horse had the title a little bit longer. Here we got Venom. What is this? Venom, The Enemy Within, Part 1. Okay, what's special about this book? It glows in the dark. I actually tried this last night in my den, or computer room, or comic book room rather. Held it up to a light, turned all the lighting off, and everything that is white glowed in the dark. It was rather a neat effect. And I want to say the tongue glowed as well. So yeah, it's got something on the white areas and the tongue and the little green slime. All that glowed in the dark. It was rather impressive, actually. Yeah, your glow in the dark covers. This is a image Bloodstrike #1. Something about rub the blood. Rub the blood. And there's like little blood stains or whatnot over the book, I guess. Uh, I have no idea. I tried it, nothing happened. So it's kind of a letdown there, image. It was kind of a letdown. Sorry, that kind of fell flat, that little gimmick there. At first, I wondered, well, is this glow in the dark? So I tried it, held it next to a lamp, turned the lighting off, and nothing. So I don't know what that's supposed to do. If you like rub it, yeah, I don't know. Bad gimmick, image. Bad gimmick. Didn't quite work there. All right. Moving right along here. What do I have? Oh, yes. All right. Die cut books. These are something else. So die cuts were something done to the cover. Sometimes throughout the book, I've got a silly example of a die cut cover or a die cut book. I mean, everybody was doing these gimmicks, not just Marvel, DC, Image, Valiant. There's like, what is this? Continuity comics. Like, kind of have this die cut following this character's face all the way around. That's kind of silly because it's just boof. Let's see. Is that next scare glowing? Okay, yeah, yeah. What's this? Here we go. Okay. Yeah, saber tooth, die cut. It's just there's the cover. You open it up. Saber tooth #1. Not to be outdone by Wolverine #50. Massive die cut cover. That's almost too much because the cover really does feel kind of flimsy. It feels very fragile. Of course, Punisher Warzone. We got a massive die cut right here. I know. Let me go ahead and remove this out of the bag and board. There we go. So that's pretty neat. Punisher Warzone #1. Oh, okay. What's this? Is this? Not only is it die cut, it's wraparound cover. Okay, there are a number of books that did this as a gimmick, and that is actually kind of neat. Let's see. Oh, we have Image Shadowhawk Volume 2 die cut with the die cut being Shadowhawk himself, and then the foil highlights, I guess, part of his costume. Let's see. Created, written, and penciled by Jim Valentino. Inked and lettered by Chance Wolfe. So that's that one. That's not a very good bag. Okay. This is it. This is perhaps the silliest die cut cover I have ever seen. This is a Malibu Comics. What is it? Protectors issue 5. You've got a hole right there going straight through the book. I guess they're trying to say a character got shot. Yeah, the hole goes all the way through, and then the ink and the panels and the artwork, and they just shot a hole here. This will, yeah, I got my pencil right here. Going to do that. Say, look at that. That's silly. Like, wee. Yeah, now I can say I've taken a comic book out for a spin. Yes, bad joke day. And I imagine somebody out there is looking at that in horror going, oh no, he just devalued the book. Yes, it won't be in the dollar bin. It'll be in the 50-cent bin. And that is another commentary about the value of these, a lot of these gimmick books, because they just didn't hold their value at the time. You can go out, go visit your friendly local neighborhood comic book store, look through their discount bins, and you'll probably find like a handful of gimmick cover comic books. Let's see here. Malibu, brought by my head Prime, a knockoff of, yeah. I kind of remember that too. Oh, hello, Gap. Thanks for catching my live stream here as I talk about gimmick covers of the 90s. Very cool having you here. So yeah, that was the die cut covers in all their glory. All right, what next? Okay. So if you didn't have anything that was foil or die cut or hologram, sometimes it was just a solid color. It was monochromatic. This is Fantastic Four, number 371. We've got a embossing here. It kind of makes it hard to see, but you can kind of see where it says Fantastic Four. And then nice variant cover of this, the same book, but in red, which makes it, ooh, there it is. You can kind of see that. So yeah, the embossing does help it stand out. So yeah, Fantastic Four, number 371, red and white variants. Honestly, I don't think it looks very good. It's the sort of thing that I would look at and go, yeah, okay. Moving right along, I'd walk past that and go to something else. Valiant. This is Solar Man of the Atom, what looks like number 10. Some embossing here and there, and that is about it. I loved Valiant at that time. That was a great book. So yeah. I don't know. I should get new bags and boards for all of those. Setting those aside. Yeah, Johnny Storm. That one color cover looks, you mean the Fantastic Four, whether it was the all red? Yeah, yeah, I don't think they should give it a wash of color to make the edges pop. Yes. Yes, there is something about this particular book that just didn't work. It's a big blotch of red. Maybe the white is maybe a little bit better. The white is a little bit easier on the eyes, and then instead of a big blotch of red. But yeah, it's not all that attractive, honestly. Yeah, Melted Copper says, dirty it up some, then you could see some detail. Yes, actually. Yeah, the way the light catches it, you can see things better on a white cover. But yeah, it's some of the gimmick covers were more successful than the others. All right, what's next in my stack of stuff? Ah, the hologram. Ah, oh goodness. Oh yeah, yep, yep, yep. Oh yeah, everybody went silly with holograms. Here's another continuity book. Here's some X titles. I got some DC. I got some Marvel. Yeah, holograms. It was like people just couldn't get enough of them. I kind of had my feel of them. This was Spectacular Spider-Man number 189, giant size 30th anniversary. I think it was like, well, what was it? 1962 to 1992. Some holograms were better than others. Hologram Party, Gap After Dark says, yep, yep. Web of Spidey number 90, again, the giant size 30th anniversary. Clone Saga, loved the wacky covers. I think I got out of comic books right when the Clone Saga hit. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 365, supersized 30th anniversary issue with its own hologram. So each book has its own hologram. Is got competing holograms competing with my studio lights. And then Spider-Man number 26, carrying on. And then we get into, going to set him aside for the time being. We get into the X titles, and these are a little bit better holograms. Got X-Men number 25, X Factor number 92, Fatal Attractions. That hologram works a little bit better, as you can see there. Yes. Wolverine loses his metal issue. Yeah, sometimes I'm looking at it in my hands, and the hologram does look much better. If you ever find these in a comic book store, you can check them out. The holograms just look a little bit better than what the camera can get. Wolverine number 75. Excalibur 71. Okay, maybe out of the bag, you can kind of see the hologram there. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yes, yes, yes. X-Force number 25. All right, now this one's kind of neat because uh, you get the occasional printing error. Uncanny X-Men number 304. One with a hologram and one without. So there I was walking around a comic book convention, and when were these books? 94 or whatever, 93, 94. I was walking around the comic book convention, chatting with some store owners. All the comic book conventions or comic conventions at the time were row and row of tables with everyone putting out long boxes. There were no cosplayers. There were no massive uh, booths or what have you. It was just a comic book show. So a friend of mine and I were walking around. He owned his comic book store, and I was working at another one. We were talking comic books. We came across this particular issue, and we were flipping through the long boxes and saw that this particular vendor had 3 or 4 issues of this X-Men without the hologram. And we looked at each other, him, the booth owner, and myself. We all looked at these going, well, this is kind of odd. I purchased one. My friend purchased one. Then the booth owner grabbed the other one, put like $30 on it, called it printing error. And that alone, I don't know if he ever sold. I don't know if he sold that or not. I can't tell you what price he put on it. It was like 20, $30. I don't recall. More than 10. He slapped a price on it, stuck it on a shelf behind his table, said printing error, such and such price. I can't even remember the price on it, but yeah, you got a gimmick cover, then you got a printing error. Yeah, misprints. They can be valuable. Then here's a massive hologram cover. This is Avengers X-Men Max yearbook. It's catching my webcam. You can kind of see the cover, the hologram. I don't know. I don't particularly care for hologram covers. It's super silly, super reflective. I'm going to sandwich it to kind of protect that hologram. 100th issue of Wolverine. And it's like a hologram of his skeleton, looks like. There he goes. No, I don't like this. This is not a very good hologram right there. Oh, I don't recall the storyline. This might have been the point at which Wolverine got his adamantium back after Magneto ripped it out of him. Again, I'm going to kind of sandwich this, kind of protect that hologram. And here's a couple of DC books. Robin Volume 2, The Joker's Wild, number 1. So yeah, you got variant covers, you got holograms, shininess. Everybody was doing them. What is this? Continuity Comics Cyber Rad number 1. Yeah, I don't like holograms. That's probably a terrible gimmick for books, the hologram. Let me catch up with the chat here. I wonder if X-Men is 97 going to do. It's no telling. I don't believe anybody will ever touch that storyline because that would need like a that would I'd almost need to be a X Wolverine TV show done in say the style of the Punisher or Daredevil on Netflix. One Color Comics. Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking. What's this? They teased his metal back for a few years before giving. Yeah, and from what I remember, the stories kind of improved because it had Wolverine having to uh, rely on his healing factor more than his adamantium. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and reread those books, but I do recall enjoying the stories where he didn't have his adamantium. Yeah, because holograms don't hold up over time. They're either done really, really well or they're really, really bad. There's very, very little of anything in between. All right, so that's honestly the eyesore of the hologram covers. Like I said, some of these were better implemented depending on, I guess, which publisher at the time was able to do it. Mm. Let me check what time it is. Okay, yep, I'm on track here. Checking the time and all right. Here we go. Next up, where does that go? The foil covers. Okay, first we had some foil lettering and whatnot with the embossment. Now we have foil, prismatic foil, shiny foil, holographic foil, whatever you want to call it. Now the foiling becomes more prominent. Like anything to get a passerby's attention. This is sitting on the comic book shelf at your local comic book store. You walk by it, it catches the overhead light from the ceiling, and you stop and go, "Ooh, what's this about?" The Uncanny X-Men number 300. Here's a issue of Namor number 37. And of course, Image got into the act. Prismatic foil is a Fantastic Four, number 375. Though it is kind of neat how it catches the lighting. Okay. Oh, this should have been elsewhere. This is another parody was also a gimmick. Parody Press Books put out gimmick covers. Bloody Hot. This is kind of a slapshod foil. It's not all that well printed. Instead of Bloodshot, it's Bloody Hot. That should have been in the stack with the other plain foil books. There's a Malibu super embossed gold foil. Number 1. Oh, yes, yes. Anytime you slap first issue collector's item, that's supposed to make it special. That's supposed to make it super rare, spiffy. It's like, oh, it's a first issue collector's item. I have to buy it. I have to own it. It's collectible. See, it says so. And then I don't know what this is. Star Trek's Walter Koenig and Dan and David Day, Raver, Malibu Books, first fantastic issue. Some kind of strange oil slick foil looking, but honestly, I can tell some areas where it's starting to, I don't know, corrode. Something about this book is not quite right. Collector's Special, first fantastic issue. You know it's fantastic because it tells you so. It's collectible. See, you have to buy this book. It's special. Let's see. Gap After Dark says foil covers can be done really well. You don't have, yeah, yeah. Bloodshot isn't my jam. Yes, Vin Diesel did do a Bloodshot movie. That's because whoever has the rights to the Valiant Universe movies or Valiant Universe comics, I may do a future comic book live stream on Valiant because that was a wonderful comic books universe. If done well, it could blow the MCU and DCEU out of the water, I believe. Uh, just the characters that Valiant had from 90 to 92. Solar Man of the Atom, Exo Man of War, Bloodshot, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, Harbingers. They had a really great stable of characters. I don't think anybody understands the universe enough to handle comic book movies. Padawan perfect time. Mantly out made Wolverine's mutant power progress again. He started turning more animal than human. Yes, yes, I kind of remembered that. Yeah, Raver. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about this. I can't even tell you how I came to get this book. It's like one of those oddities I get because I see it has somebody famous attached to it. Walter Koenig from Star Trek, Leonard Nimoy also did a comic book. Yes, it's special. I collect X stuff. Somehow ended up with a Tomb Raider. Yeah, well, Image has to get in there somehow. Lightning Comics. I have Bloodfire #1, Explosive first issue. This is kind of a little bit of silver. I can't tell if it's silver foil or really shiny ink. I want to say it's just really shiny ink. Lightning Comics. I'm getting the impression that they were a small publisher and probably didn't have the money for full on foil, but it's still not bad. It's not bad. It's nice. It gets your attention. You might not walk by it. You might actually stop and pick it up and go, I wonder what that's about before you put it back down and walk over to a Wildcats trilogy #1 with its super spiffy foil. This is almost chromium level, but I'll get to chromium books in a little bit. Jay Lee art. Jay Lee's very unique art style here all throughout the book. And speaking of Valiant comics, this is Magnus Robot Fighter, another great character Valiant had in their stable of characters. I mean, at the time, from 90 to 92, there was Marvel, there was DC, there was Image, Image came out, uh, everybody was talking about, "Ooh, look at the Image books. Look at that art. It's great. It's fantastic art, isn't it?" All the while, I would pick up a Valiant book, hold it up, and say, "Hey, have you read this awesome story?" Like, I heard people at the time say, "Well, yeah, Image had the artist, Valiant had the writing." But also what Valiant had for it was Barry Windsor Smith art. Now, that was Valiant's heyday from 90 to 92. After Valiant was sold off the first time to somebody, they changed. Their art changed. This is embossed. This is nice. This is not a bad cover. You've got the highlights, you got some separation, the cover detail. Back to Web of Spider-Man number 100. This is kind of a nice green foil cover. Yes, Ray Lucard says Wildcats had a short-lived cartoon around 94, 95. I remember that vaguely. Padawan I do have some beginning series, Wildcats Shin 13, the 29 Sun, some She. Yes, I remember She. I've got quite a bit of William Tucci's She series. Sensational She-Hulk, 48-page special, number 50. Not a bad use of green foil. I mean, it really conveys the character. Nicely done. A little bit of embossing on the title. Marvel UK. Oh, I vaguely remember Marvel UK. Their UK, a Marvel UK run of really oddball books. This is Death's Head 2 Gold. I want to say that is actual gold foil. Pretty shiny, pretty well done. I was actually reading Death's Head at that time. Death's Head 1 and then Death's Head 2. Don't remember that much about it. Let me catch up with the chat before I move on here. Remember, Wizard would push Magnus Robot. No, he wasn't like Cyclops in a skirt. What his deal was, he was super strong and was somewhat invulnerable. He was actually tied to the Harbinger comic book series. Interesting. It was also a character from the Gold Key era of comic books because before Valiant, Gold Key and Whitman had the rights to like Solar, Man of the Atom, Turok, and a few others like Magnus Robot Fighter. So Valiant acquired the rights to those characters, brought them into their universe, and made them pretty interesting. They did a pretty good job with rebooting the Gold Key era comic characters. And Metal got a comic for the yeah. Yeah, it's odd. Marvel UK had some really odd characters at the time, trying to introduce them to American audiences, I guess. Again, Deathlock number 1, first issue collector's item, 91. And then here is Green Arrow. Yeah, Green Arrow. Shiny foil. Don't know how effective it is as a cover. Yes, Deathlock appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or a version of Deathlock. Much like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had their version of Ghost Rider or Ghost Driver. which honestly I didn't mind. I didn't mind that ghost driver. I thought that was pretty neat. That was a pretty good storyline there. They could have done more with that character, I thought. And then Adventures of Superman number 505. I guess it's either 505 or 31. I'm kind of confused. It must be 505. But yeah, super shiny foil. Kind of okay. Depending on how you look at it, the fireworks in it kind of move some. So I wouldn't say that's like a true hologram unless it's just a trick of the foil. DC Trinity number 1, Green Lantern, Dark Stars Legion, and Wildcats trilogy I already covered. Let's see. Yes. Ooh, Green Arrow. Yep. Yep. Ah, yes. Mullet Superman. I think I got out of comic books around 93, 94. There was some of it I was keeping up with, and then like after that, I got out of comic books for a period of time. It was after he died and wore black. Yep. So all that I'm going to set aside and move on to the some of the big stuff. Big gimmicks was the chromium covers. This is a huge stack of books here. All right, where am I? Okay, that's spiffy. That's going to be the okay, here we go. Chromium. Chromium was out there. Everybody was doing it. Generation X, all new, number 1. And oh boy, if I can do this. Honestly, some covers are better than others. This is kind of an eyesore. My eye is trying to figure out where to go on this particular cover. It's like holograms. Some are better than others, but some are kind of eyesores. Not bad artwork inside, but the chromium covers were shiny on the inside, and the outside was it's like really thick foil. Here's a what is this? X-Men Omega. I am not seeing an issue number on it. I know. Let's see. Melted Copper says Generation X had a brief TV show with Max Headroom as a. Yeah, I kind of remember that. They couldn't do much with the TV show. This is a little bit better in its implementation. But still, it's like your eye is having to compete on where to look. Where are you looking at? I mean, everything is shiny, hard to get into. Let's see, that was X-Men Omega. This is X-Men Prime. This one's a little bit better, honestly. This is more of a matte. It's not as super glossy, super in your face. Yeah, this one's nicely done, honestly. This is nice. And it doesn't have I guess they're able to put something on the inside of the chromium cover. I honestly don't remember a lot of these storylines. I'm going to have to go back and reread some of these. see. Age of Apocalypse. That's where Magneto rips Apocalypse in half. Okay. Normal continuity. That's when X-Men get back to regular Earth. Who saw the TV movie for Generation X? I vaguely remember that. It has been ages. All right. For chromium covers, Valiant went silly with them. I think Valiant did a much better job with the chromium covers. Also, this was another gimmick. I believe Valiant introduced the issue 0. Like if you want to have a book before number 1, it's like, oh, you got number 1 out there, but what do you do to top number 1? Issue 0. I really believe Valiant was the first book to introduce the issue 0 trend. This is Bloodshot. Front and back chromium cover. All right, the deal with Bloodshot, going by memory, I want to say he was like a mercenary who was killed and revived with nanites to keep him alive or revive him and kind of heal him and make him more invulnerable and whatnot. Exo Man of War. Very nice cover. Number 0. So again, the gimmick trend of chromium cover with the gimmick of issue 0. Archer and Armstrong, another fun series from Valiant. Exo Man of War was a Visigoth barbarian from, I forget what time period on Earth, old Earth. Is like back during the Roman times. He gets kidnapped by some aliens. He frees himself, comes across this strange armor that allows him to defeat the aliens that kidnapped him and allows him to make his way back to Earth. But because he's moving, the armor allows him to fly through space at the speed of light. He goes through that nasty time dilation and finds himself back in modern day Earth instead of back during Roman time. So he's quite literally a man out of time, man out of his own element, and he has to adapt, going from a rather ignorant barbarian to learning what all is going on in modern day Earth. Ninjak. Oh, this is a number 1. This is, again, nice chromium cover. Valiant did a much better job with their chromium covers. And then this is Turok Dinosaur Hunter number 1. Their chromium was limited to just an area on the book. So that's chromium with foil and a little bit of embossing. Much better job. And then I am not entirely sure what this is. This is Entity Comics, Zen Intergalactic Ninja number 0. This looks a lot like a chromium cover. I don't believe it's front and back. I think it's just front of the book. And it's not bad. It's not as bright and glossy as the Marvel covers, and it's a little bit more muted than the Valiant books. Let me catch up on the chat here. Melted Copper saying they had the TV Nick Fury. Yes, yeah. The That was Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with David Hasselhoff. I remember that. Padawan B had a ton of Chromium cards. Not very many comics, though. Definitely reading The Age of Apocalypse soon. Wolverine only has one hand. Yep. Let's see. You only know Turok from the Nintendo 64. Yeah. Now, Turok goes back to like Gold Key, Whitman comics from like the 60s. Goes back pretty far. Padawan. Don't have any Turok comics. Oh, that's cool. I've never had it in the N64, so I'm not familiar with them. They have some early Cadillacs and dinosaurs. I'm not familiar. I've always heard that title, not familiar with it. Aha! Dad Man walk in. Hello there. Thanks for dropping by. How are you doing? Very cool. All right. So things are slowly winding up on my stream today as I am moving on to the biggest gimmick of the 90s. Kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier in the stream. Don't know if anybody picked up on it, but it was the biggest gimmick out there. It had everybody going crazy. It made the evening news. If you watched the news at the time, it was a cultural phenomenon. And I'm not going to keep you guys in suspense anymore. It was the death of Superman. The biggest and silliest gimmick from the 90s, in my opinion, was the death of Superman. Now, when I was working at a small comic book store in a small town, Texas, I had people lined up at my cash register going out the front door and then down the block waiting to get in the shop to pick up their issue of Superman. What is this? Superman number 75, January of 1993. It came like this, sealed, bagged. We got Superman number 75 with fold-out splash cover, splash back cover, full color memorial poster, full color commemorative stamps, Daily Planet obituary, black morning armband, exclusive skybox trading cards, all for $250 or $295 Canadian. This is silly. They even had a limited collector's set trade paperback. This comes with the 20 by 26 full color wall poster reprint of Action Comics #1, first comic book ever with Superman. Superman Doomsday. And there's I almost felt a sneeze coming on there. Now, there's a reprint of Action Comics #1 from June 1938. All right. So, yeah, people were buying these up left and right, getting like 4, 5, 6 copies of it. People are excited, going, oh boy, this will make me rich in 20, 30 years. It'll be worth something. I can put my kids through college and that sort of nonsense. No, sorry. I haven't checked the price on these recently, but I'd be surprised if it was more than 75, maybe $100 at most. A book is only worth as much as somebody's willing to pay for it, honestly. If you got somebody out there that would pay $50 for this, I would sell it no problem. $50, there you go, cash in hand. I wouldn't pay $50 for it. I wouldn't pay $5 for it, honestly. These are still out there in number. Like I said, I haven't checked the prices on these. I have no idea where the value is. I believe comic books should be opened up and read and enjoyed. So I'm not going to take a comic book and slab it between two pieces of archival plastic and have it graded. There's your spiffy armbands. Like, oh, armband. Oh no. Superman Doomsday lets it all out. And we have the giant fold out cover here. Yeah, it's silly. Honestly, if I'm going by memory, the owner of the comic book store, he was telling me about, yeah, it's actually not the first time Superman died. I think there was like a storyline where Superman died in the comics and like in the 70s or 60s or what have you, actually died twice before. I don't remember the dates or the particular stuff about it. Of course, they didn't keep him dead, and they didn't make such a big deal about it. It only lasted like an issue or two. Like, oh, they killed him and then they brought him back, or it's like he didn't really die. Oh yeah, I even saved the cover because I opened this up because I wanted to read it. Comic books are meant to be read and enjoyed, not to be stored and graded at like 9.8 or what have you. No, open them up, enjoy them. That's where the real value of the comic book is. Oh yes. There's the Daily Planet obituary, the book, the trading card, the stamps. And looking back at it, this is all just really silly. The poster. Let's see if I can open this up without tearing it. There we go. Oh, look at that. There you go. As I move it slowly across my desk and propping up on my computer monitor. Yeah. This was, to me, this was like the height of the gimmick cover craze from the 90s. This was where everybody was going crazy about books, buying multiple issues of any particular book because they believed that they were going to be worth something 20, 30, 40 years down the line. Like, oh, this will make my family rich, or I'll be able to put my kid through college. That sort of nonsense. No, sadly, no. Old books were valuable because there's so few of them. But when you get a book that you can come out and say, oh, there were like 5 million copies sold, 5 million, 6 million, 10 million, 10 million copies sold. That means there are 10 million copies printed, and probably still 10 million copies out there. And probably will crease that, but I don't care. Now, what's the difference between Superman number 75 and, say, Action Comics number 1? There aren't millions of these floating around out there. I don't know how many of Action Comics number 1 are floating out there, but they're valuable for a reason. They're valuable because there's only like thousands that survived from 1938. So 70, almost 100 years, 2028, be like what, 80, 90 years, whatever. I don't know. Long day. Math is hard. Anyway, you get the idea there. It's like these are valuable because there's so few of them. These will be in a discount bin because there's so many of them. And yeah, I've got multiple issues because I was working at the store and I got the discount to purchase them. And I was like, these won't be worth anything. Come on, guys. Get a grip. I might put this in a newer bag and backing board because I can see the discoloration on the backing board here. And the bag is kind of old, but oh well. Supply and demand. Yes, exactly, Dad, man. Supply and demand affect the value of. Let me catch up with the chat here. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Where was yeah, melted copper. I'm not going to touch that comment. Padawannabe. Those covers are so colorful. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, that whole storyline was poorly handled. I mean, what made Doomsday and the death of Superman such a big deal was because the Doomsday character pretty much went straight through the entirety of the Justice League. I mean, he went through hero after hero from Justice League on. Nobody could stop him. Green Lantern couldn't stop him. Wonder Woman couldn't stop him. Nobody else could stand up to him. It came down to Superman pretty much having to duke it out. Yeah, that was a huge storyline at the time. That and Batman versus Bane, Nightfall. I was tempted to mention that as well. And today's live stream about gimmicks in the comic book industry, but Superman, the death of Superman, kind of edged out Batman versus Bane, even though that was pretty big. Bane orchestrating a series of events, a intelligent Bane, not the movie Bane. Bane in the comic books was far superior to Bane and ever portrayed in one of the movies. Yeah, Doomsday, Superman Doomsday, that should have been like a 10 episode TV show or at least 5, 6 movies building up to it, but we'll never get movies doing justice to comic book characters. I remember thinking I should buy one of those, but never did. I did, however, go for the Batman versus Superman series. Yeah, yeah. Uh, like I said, I have no idea about the current pricing on these. I'd be surprised if it was really expensive. I don't believe I would pay more than $20 for this particular issue. But again, I'm not a big Superman fan. It's not worth that to me. If I was somebody that cared about Superman, I would probably pay 20, $30 for that, but no more. Uh, I got better things to do with 20, $30. Nice Superman era of the Beanie Baby craze. Yep. Yep. The Man of Tomorrow was an ending before that ending. Yep. No, no. I can honestly say I do not have any comic book that's been graded and slabbed. I won't say I won't own one, but again, I can't think of any comic book I would want to own that's been graded and slabbed. Not unless I could get it for a really decent discount and one that I really cared about. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi to one another. Nice poster. Oh, that's cool. I may look into that. Supply and demand affects the value of. Yep. As if anybody could. I actually had forgotten about him until I just read your comment. I was like, then I thought, oh yeah, he did that movie. I had forgotten. Plus, they did Steel or a version of Steel and what was it? The CW show Superman and Lois. The only real decent CW superhero show on TV. Well, aside from maybe Stargirl, and then Superman and Lois. I didn't mind those. Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, I could do without. Bane in early movies, yeah. Yeah, they made Bane in the movies big, strong, and stupid. Bane in the comic books was a genius, a mastermind. He was both brain and brawn. He was somebody who was outsmarting Batman at every turn, orchestrating a series of events to weaken Batman, get him physically worn out, and then he was able to go in and finish off Batman by breaking his back. Yes, yeah. They'll never do him justice. Plus, the Batman movies, it was like too many villains. Too many villains to keep the movie going. Just concentrate on one villain and have him maybe get defeated but run off so he can become a recurring villain. But no, in Marvel and DC movies, it's like introduce the character and then kill him off. Let's see. The Flash was solid for a few seasons. Yes. Actually, I had problems with The Flash from the get go. There were some things I didn't care for, some character changes, some race swaps I didn't care for. But yeah, writing wise, it was not bad for a season or two, and then it just got stupid. The same thing for Arrow. Really strong for a couple of seasons, ended season two really strong, but from then on, it just went downhill. And then uh, Supergirl, I didn't care for. It's like I got tired of all those Arrowverse shows like midway through their runs and just stopped watching. I was like, okay, I got better things to do with my time. Batgirl or Batwoman or whatever she was, I didn't care for, didn't watch any of it. Legends of Tomorrow, stopped watching. It's like it is lowest common denominator sort of writing. Oh, that's cool. Well, thanks for hanging out. Very cool to see you here. Thank you for lurking. Uh, I am soon to draw this to a close. I have one more book that is not from the 90s, but I like showing it because I think it is an awesome cover. Let's see, it'll transition from Smallville. Yeah, I don't believe I've ever seen a full episode of Smallville. I watched all the Arrowverse shows, but after Crisis, it all turned to trash. Yeah, yeah. I remember that. They had multiple Crisis or multiple team up shows, and it just got kind of boring afterwards. I did tune in to check out the Crisis on Earth X or whatever. where they're trying to say it was Earth with, I don't know, a certain president as dictator or whatever, and they made everything look Yahtzee, shall we say? A lot of red and black with fascistic overtones, and they were saying like, well, it reflects current day politics. It's like, no, it reflects your political views. I gave up after that. I don't believe I even watched that full run. Oh, I might have. I remember it got pretty stupid toward the end of it because it. I remember one character just introducing character after character, like it was on a game show, like such and such character, come on down, such and such character, you're next. Six more hours, 6 more hours. Killer Rabbit. Someday I may work up to that. I don't know if I could do a solo stream for more than 3 hours. I'm not Overlord DVD. Man, he can go for 5, 6 hours easy. I'm not quite that entertaining yet or interesting yet. Let's see. I might work up to that someday. TV Crisis had more multiverse and madness, and yeah, it didn't really hit on all cylinders. Yes, Brandon Routh was honestly, he was too good for Legends of Tomorrow. Same thing for Dominique Purcell, because I liked Dominique Purcell back when he was starring in this TV show called John Doe. That was like the first TV show I saw him in. I quite enjoyed that TV show. It was pretty good. Ended on a cliffhanger. If anybody's never seen it, go back and check out John Doe with Dominique Purcell. He's been on much better TV and movies. So Legends of Tomorrow was kind of a step down for him. Same thing for Brandon Routh. I liked Brandon Routh and that Superman movie. I think the only thing that failed him there was the script. The script, and it was more of a emotional driven movie instead of an action oriented Superman movie. He could have been an outstanding Superman. Him and I mean, he looked like Christopher Reeves, except maybe he had his hair parted on the opposite side. Let's see. Yep, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I just remember bits and pieces of one Crisis event, the last one with Kevin Conroy, that I thought was actually kind of sad for Kevin Conroy. It kind of felt like they did his character dirty, honestly. Let's see. Melted Copper, the script, and yeah, Brian Singer. Yeah, I felt that as well. Like I said, Brandon Routh did an excellent job as Superman, feeling following Christopher Reeves Clark Kent. It's just the script. He should have had a better script, much like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill did an excellent job. It's just the script and what they had him doing, I don't quite understand. And then it's if they never go back to it, it's okay because it's over and done with. Honestly, between Marvel, the MCU, and uh, Disney, and then DC, and who owns DC? Warner Brothers. Disney, Warner Brothers, they should just take like 5, 6 years off from making any comic book related properties and let somebody who actually cares about the franchises buy them and put the money into them. Okay. All right. Where am I time-wise? Because I've got to okay, I got a little bit of time before I have to wrap things up to go and do other stuff throughout the day or later on today. Yes, yes, even if he was done dirty. Yeah, I didn't really like what they that was kinda sad. That interpretation of Batman, I didn't care for. Mm. Yeah, Superman should always be the big blue Boy Scout. Hopeful, cheerful, a good positive role model, somebody that inspires hope in other people no matter how bad situations get. That should always be Superman. Uh, but we can't have heroes anymore. We have to deconstruct our heroes. This, I don't know what it is, a nihilist movement to deconstruct all heroes and all mediums. It's been going on since, oh, what, the 80's anti hero, the rise of the anti hero in the 80's and carried over into the 90's and the early 2000s. Let's see. Motor Copper. Really, DC does pretty right for former stars like Smallville. Yes, yes. John Wesley Shipp and Mark Hamill later on. Yep. Christopher Reeves. Yeah. I'm going to have to go back someday and make time to watch Smallville. Like I said, I don't believe I've ever seen a full episode of it. I know it's been around for like what, 8 seasons, 10 seasons. Had a pretty good run. Got a lot of press there, a lot of fan following to it. Yeah, there's some good comic book shows out there. It's just we're kind of lacking in today's comic book realm. It's like it's an acquired taste. Oh yeah, yeah. All right. All right. Last book, honorable mention. Kind of wind up the stream with this tonight or today. This is 2002. So no, not book from the 90's, but I wanted to show this off because this is one of all the comic books I have, this is one of the covers that I just really like. Top Cow, Battle of the Planets. It is a really spiffy, shiny, foily looking cover. It is cover by Alex Ross. Art director Alex Ross, writer Monier Sharif, pencils by Wilson Tortosa, colors Loon Studios Shane Law, lettering by Dreamer Designs Robin Spear and Dennis Hessler, editor David Wool. Looks like a pretty solid book. I only got this because I like Alex Ross, and this was a amazing, amazing cover. Yes, G-Force. Ooh, Battle of the Planets. Yeah, this is a particularly nice cover. Now, this is a one of those cases where I did stop, look at a book, and go, "Ooh, shiny." Yes, I really thought, "Ooh, shiny, I've got to buy this." And then you got the nostalgia of Battle of the Planets, G-Force. I've shown this off in past live streams, but since I'm talking about gimmick covers of the 90s, I want to share this with everyone again because it is really a nice cover. If I could find a good sized poster of this, I would buy it. Nothing on the cut back. Inner artwork is pretty nice. But yeah, nice book. Nice cover. So let me see. I am going to wrap things up because I've got a few other things I have to do later this afternoon. I want to thank you all for joining me today. I quite enjoy moving all my comic book chats to Saturday. Feel I get a little bit more into them as opposed to 11 p.m. or midnight, late nights. Let's see who popped in my chat today. Let's see, Susan Eckstein. Thank you for dropping by. Melted Copper. What? The sun is out. What are you doing? Yes. The sun is out and I'm doing a live stream. Crazy, huh? And then let's see. Ooh, Killer Rabbit. Killer Rabbit from space. Let's see. Scrolling. Oh, I see Ray Lucard. Yeah, if I do a follow-up to gimmick covers, I will talk about the Batman versus Bane, the Nightfall run, because that was pretty good. I was tempted to bring it into today's show, but the biggest gimmick was the death of Superman. But that may Batman number 500 may be a future live stream. Let's see. Scrolling down. Ah, yes, Gap After Dark. Hello, Gap After Dark. Let's see. Ray Card, Gap After Dark, Melted Copper. Padawannabe joined us today. And let's see. I don't want to forget anybody. Dad Man Walking. Hello there. Very cool to have you show up. Let's see. It's very good that I can scroll all the way to the beginning and catch everything. Melted Copper, Gap After Dark, Killer Rabbit. Oh, AI is ruining the work of Alex Ross in modern times. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Oh, been enjoying the comic book Saturday streams. Cool, thank you. I feel like it gives me a more of an opportunity to put into the Saturday streams where I can find specific comic book related topics and chat about them. Let's see, Melted Copper between Pacific Rim and Kong Godzilla verse, sort of. Voltron, a big budget Voltron. That is like Gundam. Netflix, I believe, is threatening to make a Gundam TV show. It's in the works. It's just the sort of thing I hope they don't ruin it, because you can ruin Cowboy Bebop, you can ruin Dragon Ball Z, you can ruin so many other anime adaptations, but if you ruin Gundam or Voltron, that's a pretty sizable fandom you'll tick off. So now I would just assume them not adapt Voltron. But I'm cautiously optimistic about the Netflix's Gundam show. That's a wait and see there. This is fun. Thank you, Gap. Let's see. Laters all. Everybody saying their goodbyes. Later, everyone. Enjoy Saturday night. Yep. I have quite enjoyed this. Thank you all for joining me today, whether live, lurking, or on replay. Share, subscribe, all that jazz. Sharing is caring, as they say. Until next time, everyone, future live streams. Let's see. I don't know what I'll be doing Monday night. I have no idea, but that's par for the course with me. Monday night, then of course Tuesday afternoons I'll be on Comic Relief Crusaders show. Tuesdays and Friday afternoons I'll be on his show. Wednesday night, I'm not sure what my topic for Wednesday night will be. So Monday night's up in the air. I'm not sure what I'll be doing on Wednesday night. Next Saturday, I will come up with something new for Saturday comic books. But this has been fun. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Hope you have enjoyed it. Until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your Saturday.